Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Alice, and if you know me, you know that I am a firm believer of buying second-hand first because it's more sustainable for the environment, for your wallet, but also for your style, because you will find some truly unique pieces that will really make your style stand out instead of looking like everyone else. That said though, there are few items that I truly believe you should buy first-hand or new. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule, but I will discuss that more at the end of the video. So without further ado, let's get into it. First is pants. If you are a woman, chances are that you already struggle to find a pair of pants that is not only fitting but also flattering. And that's because women comes in many shapes and sizes, and although this is beautiful, it is also quite unpractical in terms of finding the right pair of pants. And this becomes even more complicated when you're shopping secondhand because you have less choices, and because especially when you buy online, you can't try things on. I made an average when I was really insisting on buying everything secondhand, and I noticed that I was finding a pair of pants that at least fit me, not necessarily flattering, but at least fit me every 4 pants I was buying. And this is not sustainable financially, because of course there is a lot of wasted money there, but also even if you are going to tailor them, and I did for the most part, unless you really have just to do the hem, if you are going to resize an entire pair of pants, that's going to be quite expensive because there is a lot of tailoring that goes into it. And to be honest, it also becomes not so sustainable environmentally because realistically, when you start to accumulate too much to be rehomed, we have a much higher chance that we are just bringing it to a second-hand shop or to a donation, and we know that those items tend to go into landfill. So personally, I established that it is better to buy less and buy new, but be sure that you are buying the right items for yourself. I say pants because in my experience they are truly the most difficult thing to find secondhand, but the same can be said for any kind of tailored and fitted item. That's because these type of items need to fit perfectly to really look good, because clearly the item is meant to be fitted properly on you. So if it is too small or too big, it will show and will not look good. So this is something that I tend to buy new as well, so that I can be sure that it's the right item for me. Now, I said specifically tailored and fitted because when an item is tailored but let's say oversized, or it's a more relaxed style, then of course you have a lot more leeway because the item is meant to be more relaxed. So if it is a little bit too big, or if it's not perfect on you, it's not going to show, it's still going to show to look beautiful. So that's why the emphasis on tailored and fitted. Next we have bathing suits. To be honest, I will never understand why people find unacceptable to buy underwear second-hand, but they have no problem buying used beachwear. It covers the exact same areas. If one is unsanitary, the other is unsanitary. Of course, there is an exception if the bathing suit is absolutely new with tags that's clearly never been used, or I don't know, was only tried on, see, didn't fit and resold. That's not a problem. I would buy it secondhand as well. But if the item is used, I wouldn't buy it. And I would say it should be obvious, but given the amount of bathing suits, clearly worn bathing suits that I've seen sold and bought on Vinted, I thought it was good to throw it in there. Next is shoes. Now, I hope that it's obvious that you shouldn't buy really worn out shoes, especially when the insole took the print of the previous owner. That is absolutely unhealthy for your feet. So please don't buy those shoes, even if they are super cheap. They are really unhealthy. You will spend a lot more in healthcare later on. However, even when the shoes is absolutely brand new, I am still cautious. I am not saying that I would never buy it, but that I'm cautious. And that's because I noticed that at least for me, finding a pair of shoes second-hand is equally as difficult as finding pants, because apparently I simply have a combination of length and width that is not that easy to find. In fact, I do struggle also when I buy new. So what I do now, because again, I've seen that when I was buying secondhand, I was trying to guess my number in that specific type of shoes, and I ended up collecting a ridiculous amount of shoes that need to be rehomed because I simply cannot use them. So what I do now is I take the time to find the right brand, the right fit, the right style, the right everything. I buy them new the first time, and then I basically stick to it, and from then on I will buy them secondhand. This is it. I know it's not a lot, but that's because for the most part I still buy everything secondhand first. That's not only when it comes to clothing, but that's a general rule in my life for everything I buy. So these are really the few things that in my experience it's so difficult to find secondhand that I am okay with buy them new. Of course, I generally follow the rules that if I can't buy secondhand, the next best option is to find a sustainable brand. But if I can't buy a sustainable brand, then I would rather have a new items, even if it's not the most sustainable, but that it's perfect, will last me forever, rather than having a ton of items that I have no idea what to do with. Also, as I said before, to every rule there is an exception. I already mentioned when it comes to bathing suits, if the items is brand new, it's not an issue, same goes with the shoe. The other rule obviously is that if you have a second-hand shop and you can try the item on and it fits you, of course there is no problem there. Every single time I see a second-hand shop, I always go in and try to find pants and blazer and those kind of items that I know that it's difficult for me to find online. And if I find them, that's amazing. It's like I won the deal. But if I can't find them, then I would go new. And that was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give him a like and maybe consider subscribing. It will really help my channel. I speak all things fashion in a realistic way. So I hope you enjoyed it, and stay safe. See you next time. Bye.